We started as the disunited Moldovan principalities, and we formed the Kingdom of Romania, got the highest literacy in the world, and completely urbanized our nation, more than even Western Europe, as well as we become the cultural hegemon in the world, with more than double the cultural influence of anybody else, as well as we managed to get 6 million Moldovans out there. That means there's more Moldovans living outside of our country than within Romania. Now boys, if you enjoyed this campaign, make sure to leave a like. If we get 7,000 likes, I'm going to do the third part where we go into the interesting late game playing toll. And I've got a little bit of a small request. If you enjoy the content, do consider subscribing. I've got a little goal of 250,000 subs by the end of the year, and it's really fast approaching. I don't think I'm going to get it, to be honest, but I gotta try, right? The year is 1496, and the Kingdom of Romania has finally gathered all of its historical borders. Right now we have a lot of issues, including the fact that our cultures are not as united as we'd like them to be, so one of our main focuses is going to be to convert a lot of the populations in Transylvania as well as the rest of our country to our primary culture. Same goes for religion. Most of Transylvania is Catholic, which we need to fix. Road-wise, we also have unlocked paved roads, but we don't have the entirety of the country with paved roads, so we need to build up a lot of roads, which in turn means we're going to get a lot more proximity to capital reduction, which then means we're going to get more control. Especially the most western parts have zero control, which is why I am going to be making subjects out of the western parts of the country. We've got some subjects in the Ukrainian parts too, and the Golden Horde is now again at war with the Muscovites, so once they finish that war, we might attack them just to get prettier borders. Maybe we can get a little subject in Crimea, because, you know, I'm just trying to go for historical Romanian subject horde. That being said, we've got some decent control around our capital, 100 to 90, 80 almost everywhere. Our townships and cities are as such. We don't have any cities except our capital, so population wise right now we've got a few other areas that could potentially become cities, including in the south the Zimnica, which I'm going to turn into a city right now. Whenever I see 30,000 population, which is the amount required to turn a location into a city, I will instantly turn it into a city if I can, because there's a lot of extra benefits to having more cities. We also only have 75 base tax in Yash, so we need to kind of improve that. We're going to need to make some more printer shops. Printer shops is one of the best ways of increasing your tax base, since it is in super high demand around this period. Well, to be honest, pretty much all the time, printers and papers workshops are going to be in super high demand. We also have not that many universities. We need to spam universities. I want to have universities in every single town and city, which means we're going to need books for those universities, so paper and printer workshops are going to be again really high demand. We only have 3,000 professional soldiers too, and we're going to need to get a lot more, because with one of the more recent patches, regular soldiers are way better than levies, so we're going to have to switch away from a levy based army from now on. The rest of the world looks as this. We've got a semi-strong Ottomans. Actually, we do have a little footholds in Anatolia that are Greek Orthodox nations. Speaking of, the Ottomans themselves are also Orthodox, so at least we don't see Orthodoxy disappear from Anatolia anytime soon. Trebizond's pretty decent too. The Karamanids are still Sunni, and they've got a decent chunk of Anatolia as well, so we're gonna have to clean up Anatolia to maybe give it to our Byzantine broskies, because we are still super homies with the Byzantines. In fact, the Balkan alliance is still strong and at it. Byzantines, Serbians, and Romanians together forever. Those backstabbing Bulgarians will be taught a lesson though. They've allied the Ottomans, so we're gonna have to wipe out what's left of Bulgaria at some point and make it into our subject, of course. France, for some reason, managed to get a foothold in England, so I'm assuming England's not going to be around for too much longer. Kildare and Connacht have split Ireland between themselves, and apparently the Pale still survives in the little town of Belcoo. That is so weird. I think the Pale should still be a subject of the English. It is a dominion of England. Very interesting to say the least. Brandenburg somehow also survived, and Austria's got a lot of big chunks around the HRE. That has been fixed, so the HRE Emperor cannot do this anymore, but in our save, since we started before the fix happened, the Austrians are pretty strong, so we're gonna have to deal with them eventually. Now guys, one thing that is extremely important, whenever you build your roads, make sure you click on whatever is your main proximity source, so in most cases that's your capital, and then from your capital drag the roads along whichever path you want them to go down. You don't want to mess this up, because if you have just one type tile that doesn't have the connection, it completely ruins the connection for the whole road. So just to be on the safe side, always drag it from the capital. And it seems like the Byzantines have called us in the second war against the Ottoman Empire. Let's go ahead and raise our levies. They've got about 5,000 regulars. Yeah, we're gonna need a few more soldiers here. Also, I'm not really sure how, but the Golden Horde managed to grab the other side of the Straits of Marmara. I've got no clue how this happened. I actually can ask for military access or purchase military access from the Duchy of Biga, which surprisingly is an independent Greek Orthodox duchy. I like to see a bit more fragmentation in Anatolia. Let's say it's working out for us. Holy mother of God. We got massively backstabbed, guys. We were literally winning and the Byzantines pieced out. You know what they pieced out with? They gave all of our subject lands to the Ottomans. They gave none of their lands. Oh, actually, I think they gave a little bit here too. But they gave the entirety of our you absolute backstabbing sons of schnitzels. You absolute scum. You actual the worst. The Greeks are the worst. I'm so pissed right now. I'm so pissed. I'm making all of the Balkans mine. You hear me now, bud? Jokes aside, the Ottomans were definitely wiping the floor with the Byzantines. The Ottomans are very powerful still. So I kind of have to make buffer zones out of the entirety of the Balkans just to prevent the Ottomans from spreading into Europe anymore. This is a matter of survival, guys. Survival. Now, when it comes to the custom nations we're making, the first one's going to be in Zalo, and it is going to be there because Zalo is still predominantly Transylvanian. So this what? How? What the fuck, man? This is literally 50%, more than 50% Transylvanian. Are you kidding me right now? Oh my God, I'm so mad. Why is it Hungarian? You little shits. Enforced culture, you're now Moldovan. Congratulations. Dude, I literally was converting it to Transylvanian before. It had 60, almost 59 point something percent, almost 60% Transylvanian. Why did did it not tell me the right amounts? I'm calculating it's more Transylvanians here than Hungarians. I'm just upset. I'm just very upset now. Maybe it took it because Hungarian has more cultural influence. That would make sense. Okay, time to also max out the amount of marketplaces that we've got. And I'm also want to talk about this for a second because I've made a trade guide a couple of days ago and some of you guys have actually said that marketplaces are bad. Ludi, don't build marketplaces. Oh, if you increase marketplaces, Ludi, it's going to increase the cost of core. Yes, everything increases the cost of core. It's scaled off of your actual income. So your idea is that if you get more income, it increases the cost of core, it increases the cost of recruiting core tiers, etc. Yes, obviously. It's a means of making it not insanely easy in the late game. It's not a great feature. I'm not actually on board with it either. But saying that you should not increase your economy because everything gets more expensive is just nonsensical. I mean, sure, cost of core is going to be high until you reach 100 legitimacy, but let's wait for 1 month, see what happens after 100 legitimacy. Look at that, it's 34 ducats. It's not that much of a big deal, okay, once you reach 100 legitimacy. And more importantly, more trade income. Look at that. We are paying right now for 155 marketplaces, 6 ducats. That's it. We're getting a trade income of 39 ducats. It's not as much as in previous patches. That's true. We used to make significantly more in previous patches, like hundreds of ducats more, but it's still a profit, my dude. Even with the trade maintenance into account, it's still a profit. This is actual money you're making. It's not much, but it's still money. I mean, the other ways of making money is just taxing people, or better yet, taxing estates, which we are taxing, of course. But even if you just make 0.10 extra ducats from having the marketplaces, not only do you get the money from the trade income, you also make burgers because these marketplaces hire burgers and burgers get taxed. So you make more money off of that too. It's crazy seeing some of those comments. Like, I have no idea where you guys are getting this information from that, oh, you should just not build marketplaces. I completely disagree with that. You should be building marketplaces. Also, I'm not sure about this, but I'm gonna go ahead and assume that Paradox is aware of this and they're gonna make it so you get a little bit more money from trade in the next patches when they realize that trade is not that great right now. The truth is, guys, I'm a little bit disappointed with the whole multiple patches over the past couple of weeks. I haven't played EU5 for almost a week because I've been on a massive Tarkov spree. I've just been continuously playing Tarkov. And one thing that I noticed is that there's been like 5 patches. That's just wild to me. 5 patches in like a week and something. It is really not good. That just gives me the idea that the game should have been released a month later at least, or a few months later at least. I don't know why they decided to release it when they did. I don't work for Paradox. I have no idea what the inner workings of Paradox are, and it's not my business, end of the day. day. I'm just a gamer. I just play the game. I just have fun playing the game, and I'm still having a lot of fun playing this game, actually. I really enjoy EU5. It's probably my favorite grand strategy game by far, even more than Vicky 3, than EU4, than anything else right now, and it's still got a lot of patching to do. It still needs a lot more flavor in a lot of parts of the world that have basically no flavor, but it's still a fun game even without all of that, right? And I understand that it's not perfect. I understand that it needs a lot more patching, and that's fine, man. Do I wish they released it later? Yes and no. Yes, because it would have been a much more fleshed out game. No, because then you guys would not have been able to play it. And you know what the result of you guys not being able to play it is? They only listen to the feedback they get, which is us content creators, the QA team, which is just a few people. It's very few people. Sure, I don't know, maybe it's tens or hundreds of people, but it's still nothing compared to the hundreds of thousands of you guys giving Paradox feedback and letting Paradox know more about what needs to be changed. So, end of the day, this is your game, guys, and you're making this game a lot better by giving them your opinion about the game. That's my take on it. And in classic Paradox fashion, I'm sure this game will be 10 times better in 2-3 months once they properly balance stuff and they patch stuff and they patch all the bugs and the unbalanced stuff. It takes a while. It's not instant. It's not perfect, but this is our game. All of us, the grand strategy community, right? And we're gonna make it into an awesome game. I'm sure of it. Basically, my take here is that I understand the hatred towards certain things, and I'm not saying it's not valid because it does have a lot of valid points. But just remember, we're all just trying to have fun here. You don't need to throw nasty words around at people. You don't need to insult people or companies and stuff. Trust me when I tell you guys that they're really working their asses off. The team is extremely hardworking, and they're doing their best to make this the game that you guys want to play pretty much non-stop, really. They're trying to get you hooked on this, okay? It's all a conspiracy. They're trying to get you all addicted to the game. I'm tired of pretending, okay? This is worse than drugs, guys. There you go. I said it. It's worse than freaking drugs. They get you hooked on EU5 and then they sell you the DLCs. That's how they keep you under their toe. Now, at this point in the campaign, one parliament debate that I really enjoy going for is the sponsor university. Is it because of the extra university? Sure, that's not bad, but it's not because of that. It's because of the monthly progress to innovative by 0.50 until the parliament issue gets passed, whilst it's active, basically. It is really a very big deal because we want to be going towards innovative as much as we can in this part of the campaign. Also, I want to address the whole food situation in the mid to late game. We are having issues with food in Yash. How are we going to fix that? Is it going to be from expanding RGOs around the rest of the country? Sure, that will work, but even better than that is we max out the irrigation. So flat out, just build all the irrigations. Not even kidding. Max it out. This irrigation is going to scale. So from 13 irrigations, we get 5% times 13, which is 65%. See, that's an easy mathematical thing. I'm totally not horrible at math. Also, speaking of things that will be changing, I'm super happy to see that Paradox decided they're going to make some changes to the values. So they're going to make centralization and decentralization a little bit more even. Right now, nobody goes decentralization because it's crap, but they did mention they're going to try and rebalance that. So I'm curious to see what exactly is going to happen. I think the way they should do this is they should make it so you get proximity cost reduction flat from decentralization, not percentage. So like minus 5%. Ooh, that would be so good. Because then you have to decide between centralization, which is still the same, like that's good, but decentralization with the flat value. Ooh, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a really tough one because you don't get the crown power from decentralization, but you get more potential proximity reduction, which is huge. Let's see what our explorers are doing. So we're trying to find out what's happening in the Sea of Azores. I'm going to send another explorer to Madeira and another one to the Western Sahara and Maghreb so we can at least discover a little bit of the coastline there. Does that mean I'm going to go colonial? Probably not, but I just want to see what's happening, really. So we made a couple of new subjects here, and of course, they're all disloyal because we've converted them to Moldovan culture. Speaking of, check this out, boys. The subjects that we converted to Moldovan earlier have 100% converting their particular provinces to Moldovan, with the northern subject in the process of doing the exact same thing. So eventually all of Transylvania is going to be Moldovan, as will all of Wallachia, which is happening happening naturally, by the way. Look at that. See, this is not me converting. I haven't done a single bit of converting. This is because our influence is higher than the Wallachian tradition for culture, since there is no more Wallachian culture nations, which means their tradition is literally, well, almost zero. It's 0.87. It's going to eventually go down to 0.00. So by default, it's easier for our primary culture Moldovan to convert this to Moldovan. I really wish we had an option to just make everything Romanian from the click of a button, unite all three of the cultures into one major Romanian group. All right, time to spam some more universities. Let's go, baby. University me up, boy. Oh yeah, look at all those universities. We got the smartest people in the world. Actually, if we look at the literacy map mode, we literally have the highest literacy in the world. Well, it's second highest after the Papal States, which makes sense. It's the biggest theocratic nation in the world, right? Done a little bit of extra expansion, so we're recruiting a few more regiments, which means we're going to need to get some more armories too. We're going to basically just spam all the armories we can get. We basically have nothing in the southern area, so we can have, I don't know, probably like 30 more armories from the Wallachian parts. We do have issues because we don't have enough characters for the cabinet now. We can get some of our crown pops into the cabinet, but they are so bad, it's crazy. Holy mother of God. What kind of education did you have, bud? What kind of education you had? Let's make sure he joins the chivalry order so he gets a little bit more military ability at least. We are going to get a Catholic rebellion in the lands that we haven't yet given out to subjects in a few moments. Hey, we got the arquebusiers. That's huge. So let's go ahead and upgrade our units now. We got a little civil war just in time. Upgradio, complicadio. How many soldiers we got now? We got 11,000 out of the 5,000 expected amount. That's pretty good numbers. A great loss for everyone. The leader has passed away, and Jan the Fourth, the worst heir we've ever had, he is so bad, is now the new king. Ugh. We're gonna make sure our heir is gonna have an expensive education. Hopefully he gets a little bit better than his papa is. He does have gallant child trait, so that's pretty good. All right, rebellion has been crushed without us even having to raise our levies, which is good. That's why we won. That's why we're gonna try and get more soldiers. I want to have at least 20,000 soldiers standing regular army. And we also just got access to training fields, which means we can build this building in every single rural location we've got, so we get a lot more manpower. Absolutely love when I get new advances that allow me to increase the amount of RGOs. Like, most RGOs just give so high amounts of tax space, it's wild. Now, that being said, we do need to improve our control. Look at that. We're still on the fringes, around 50 to 60 control on the fringes of Moldova, and most of Wallachia itself doesn't really have super high control because the road network hasn't properly reached those lands. By contrast, we have roads in Transylvania, so we're making Transylvania a little bit better than Wallachia for some reason. But I'm kind of thinking right now, maybe I should change my capital to Galați. That's where I'm from, by the way. I'm not saying to change it here because that's where I'm from, okay? Or to Kudal. I'm not saying that. It might be a better location. It's just a suggestion. I mean, look, if we look at the river map mode, look at the amount of rivers. Okay, to be fair, yeah, it wouldn't be that much of a difference, would it? Because the rivers do spill into the sea, which is right here. And Galați is right next to that, so it wouldn't be much downstream. Technically, Târgoviște would be really good too, but then we would lose the control in Moldova. So I think I'm just going to keep the control in Moldova where we started from. So the eastern nations that we've established as buffer areas before are primarily either Ruthenian or Crimean or Mongolian in the case of this one here. And I feel like for the Mongolian one, if we were to ask them to become Romanian or Moldovan, they would probably revert to Mongolian. I'm very confident that would happen because Mongolian is one of the strongest cultures right now with really high cultural influence. But for Crimean, I don't think that's gonna happen, or for Ruthenian. So maybe I'm gonna enforce I'm gonna enforce culture in a couple of these just to see what happens. I'm not gonna do it for all of them because I don't want them to all be disloyal at the same time. Also, a cool new thing that was added is the food slider. So you get to decide whether your provinces will have the option of buying food or not if you invest it at 100% or not. So always keep it at 100%. I actually had it on 0. That was a mistake because then people would go starving. You don't want your population to starve because you're going to lose pops. Hey, we also got falconists. That's huge. So let's go ahead and upgrade all of our units again. We're currently paying 54 for our army maintenance at 50% or 109 at 100%. So we're keeping it at 50% and we're drilling the schnitzel out of it. You can still drill it at 50% too. Oh, let's go, baby. Expand the paved road network. Yes, please. That means we now have significantly cheaper roads that we can upgrade. So let's go ahead and do exactly that. We want to at least grab some of the roads in the southern areas into Oltenia. I'm going to start building a spy network in the Golden Horde again again because we want to attack them to grab the Crimean parts that's rightfully ours. I just looked at the cultural map mode for a second and I got crazy when I saw the southern areas of Greece. Look at that. There's so many Francians around here, man. That is wild. Same here. Rhodos is almost 100% Francian. We got Poitevin in the entirety of Cyprus, 100% Poitevin. Of course, Cypriots are proud Frenchmen. Everybody knows this. And Cretans are just proud Venetians, 100% proud. Wow. The AI is converting so much in this patch, and I'm all for it. Even in England, there's barely any Welsh people left. Wow. Only Kidwelly has majority Welsh. No, actually this one too. Monmouth. But I'm kind of getting the vibe that Monmouth's not going to be Welsh for too much longer. By contrast, Cornish still somehow survived. Wow. And the little location of the Pale is English, actually. You want to see how crazy Mongolian is as a culture? Check it out. 12 million Mongolians. I'm like 90% sure this is the highest amount of any pops in the world. Coke Teamers got 4 million. Okay, that lets me think that Coke Teamer is culturally converting, because Coke Teamer shouldn't have that many Mongolian pops. Oh god, I just realized my extremity subjects are still Sunnis. We got to convert these bad boys to our religion. Let's go, baby. We don't want to have Sunnis in our extremities, do we? Hey, and look how awesome our little arquebusiers look. We got another issue, guys. Our market is not that good right now. So what I mean by that is that in the extremities here, we have about 25 to freaking 14 market access. That's nothing. That is really nothing. And because of that, the pest market, as well as the other adjacent markets, are taking locations from us. So what we need to really do is create some more markets now. We need to find some good locations for these markets. Obviously, my eyes are set on the city in the south here in Zimnica. We could create a market in Zimnica, and I think I'm going to do that right now, actually. So the southern market in Zimnica takes over most of the locations that were previously going over to the pest market, that were going over to the Constantinople market. So check it out, 86 market access, 70 something. That is perfect. That is actually perfect. Once we grab the rest of Bulgaria, that should also be in the Zimnica market. But that's not enough, because look at that, Transylvania is still not properly within our market. So I feel like maybe we need to make a third market in Transylvania, so we get like a nice little trinity of markets: the Moldovan, the Romanian, and the Transylvanian markets, right? I just don't know which city to place it in, because we don't have many towns or cities for that matter. Maybe Cluj, but Cluj would be super close to Yash. That's why I don't really necessarily want to make it in Cluj. This location here, Keresig. Maybe we make a market here. We don't create a subject, we just directly integrate this. It's 25,000 population too. We could turn it technically into a town. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit more of a longer play then. So we're going to assign one of our gentlemen here from assimilating the seculars to integrating Bihor. Speaking of, we're also pretty high up there with our orthodoxy in the secular lands. Almost everybody is majority Orthodox now. Oh, I was right, boys. Our subjects that we converted to Moldovan have started converting their countries to Moldovan, because we got more cultural influence than whatever culture they had before. Oh, this is beautiful. I'm going to do it to more countries then. We do seem to have some issues with the Zimnica market. Namely, the Zimnica market doesn't have enough food, so we're going to just go ahead and expand the RGOs that produce food everywhere, so we maybe don't have those shortages. We're also going to get some more irrigation in the towns around the Zimnica market. I'm also going to be the bigger man here, and I'm going to make Hungarians a tolerated culture, which puts us at 2.47 out of 2.4 accepted cultures. I also want to give a big shout out to all my Hungarian viewers that know this is a freaking video game and I'm trolling here, because I've also seen some comments from some people that get extremely butthurt about a literal video game. Guys, chill. We're all just trying to have fun here. That's it. Speaking of, it seems like my subject has a rebellion, and I don't think they are having fun, because the rebellion cannot occupy their country. The subject also cannot raise the army. So it's basically sitting in a limbo right now. For how long? No idea. But this stuff needs to get patched. Come on. We also got a massive expansion of bridges in the areas that I actually didn't know don't have bridges. I just assumed they had bridges, but apparently no bridges were found. Glad to see that my subjects are definitely upgrading their locations to towns. Look at this. Bistrica has 3 towns already, and they're upgrading one more here to a town. That's actually Krasna though. What's not not good is the fact that the Lutheran preachers are converting my locations to their religion. That is no bueno, and that is because these locations are Catholic, so they have the option of doing that. We probably should have converted everything to Orthodoxy a little bit faster. Didn't think about this too much. I mean, I'm going to do the same with my subjects. I'm going to ask them to become Orthodox just so they can convert their own provinces to... Hey, we can do our third city. I don't know why Râmnicu Sărat is the third city, but you know what? I'm all for it. Sadly, Kudalbi is only a 10,000 population, which technically is about 4 times more than the current population, if you ask me. We're about to get Wancha also to become a city, so that's going to be pretty big. I also want to talk a little bit about advances, guys, because the truth is you're never going to be able to get all the advances researched by the end of the campaign, no matter what you do. There's just way too many of them. You're never going to have enough innovation points, so you really need to know what to prioritize. I was actually thinking of doing a dedicated advance guide. I don't know if you guys want to see that, so do let me know in the comment section. Then I can just go like make a 20-30 minutes video where I go through every single step, every single advance that you should prioritize and such. But in this particular case, as the Romanians, we got to make sure we go for the right advances, because for example, encourage urbanization is really good for us. We need that extra population promotion speed, so we want to research this as soon as possible so we can double down on urbanizing our cities, getting more burgers, which in turn means we get more burger buildings created faster. So we should have researched this a while back. Actually, we got like 5,000 missing burgers in Yash alone, which is a big issue. We need to fix that. Stuff like mercenary premium cost, all this is useless. I'm never going to use mercenaries. I don't need to use mercenaries, so I'm never going to go for these researches. Heavy cavalrymen, sure, we could do this, of course, or we can skip it altogether and we can just go for lancers straight, because we don't actually need to research heavy cavalry in order to research lancers. So why would we? You know what I mean? It's pointless. Might as well just go for the more advanced research from Age of Discovery, halberdiers, lancers, and not light lancers. Lancers are better than light lancers in my opinion. Supply convoys and such, matchlock levies. In fact, I would be inclined to say that you can skip certain technologies altogether from certain ages, but when it comes to military, you want to have at least a main fighting unit. So in our case, we got the handgooners and we got the hoofnesses. You want to have these at least. Men at arms also pretty good. Coastal forts not bad either, even though we don't have that many coastal tiles that are towns and cities. We will eventually upgrade all of our coastal cities to towns. Right now we got 3 of them. That's it. We want to make all of these bad boys towns. And speaking of, let's check our cultural map mode. Look at that. All of the coastline is Moldovan, or majority of it is Moldovan. These guys are about to become super Moldovan too. Mongolian, because it has such high cultural tradition, is difficult to convert. I have not been able to convert Ismail still. In fact, Ismail is becoming more and more Mongolian because of that Mongolian majority there, and we've lost some Moldovan pops, which is brutal to say the least. It's also why if we convert this nation to Moldovan, once they're able to, they're going to revert back to Mongolian, because they're just not going to be able to convert these provinces to Moldovan by themselves. And 50 years have passed since we last asked one of our subjects to improve cultural opinion. We're going to do it again with the Bulgarians, which means that Bulgarian is now super friendly towards us, and it only costs us 0.84 to make them an accepted culture, which we're not going to do because there's barely any. We need 2.5% to make them an accepted, and we're going to have 0 in a few years. But it's just good to have it because it means that nations that have Bulgarian as their primary culture will see us better. So we get 5% improved relations with those nations, and we got a lot, and I mean a lot, of Bulgarian subjects. All of the southern subjects are still Bulgarian. We haven't made them Moldovan yet, and we haven't done so because we don't want to have at the same time all of our subjects disloyal. So we're focusing on the Transylvanian and the eastern subjects, making them Orthodox first off, and we've basically done that already, and then switching over and making them Moldovan second. And then once we're done with all of those, we're going to focus on the Bulgarians and do the same with them. Actually, I just realized this subject here is Greek, the county of Burgas. Wow. Okay, I did not know that. Another thing that I want to do after the next synod here is I want to change the liturgical language from Church Slavonic to Romanian. It's going to cost 20 stability, but it's worth it because this will give us more language power. Look at that. Because we've changed to Romanian, and because we're such a massive nation, we got now 11.36 language power. And if we go to our monthly progress, The power of the liturgical language gives 0.02. That can give a lot more if we have a more powerful language. We can go up to 100% the liturgical language power once Romanian is strong enough. And Bihor has become an integrated part of our country, which means we got significantly more control. We got a whole 1% control, guys. That is huge. That's because it's an integrated province. Now, if we were to make it cores by either accepting this culture, which right now is unfortunately Hungarian, or changing it to our culture or an accepted culture like Transylvanian, then we get a little bit more control. So that's going to be the next point here. We're going to assimilate them to Moldovan, not Transylvanian, because it's faster, because we got more cultural influence, so we can actually do this. Transylvanian, we take a ridiculously high amount of time to convert to. We're also converting the religion here. Now, since it is already a integrated province, I am going to create the town in Keresig. And speaking of, I think I'm actually going to do all of these towns. Oradea and Bihor I'm going to do into town as well. All three of them are pretty high population, pretty good locations to turn into towns actually. And the best part is to remember, a town also gives an extra 5% maximum control. Speaking of towns, Wancha is also ready to become a city. Look at the difference after we've assigned one of our cabinet members to promote urbanization in Iași. We're promoting 339 pops every month. I've also just researched the Deus Vult advance, because in previous patches, even if you didn't have this advance, you were able to create the religious war CB, but with the more recent patch, they fixed it. That was not actually supposed to happen. So you can only get a religious war CB now if you've got that particular advance, which you unlock from going for the first Age of Renaissance admin focus. So yeah, Paradox actually fixed it, which means the start of the campaign that we had, where we took all of these guys here with the religious war CB, we cannot until we actually research the advance, which makes a lot more sense. It's more fair, let's say. It sucks though that I see my favorite exploits getting patched, but I'm happy that they are getting patched at the same time. Another awesome part about cities is that we can build a town lock canal in these locations now. You only can build this in cities, which goes alongside with the bridge. So if you've got a river going through your city, once you've got your road established, you can build both the bridge and the pound lock canal, which means you get an extra 5% more proximity cost reduction. Our crown prince is definitely better than our current leader, 57, 52, 76. Not bad. So hopefully this guy dies. Also, I want to point something out. We had less skills before, but this guy increased in his abilities. Better yet, how did that happen? Well, we've got a lot of fiefdoms, and the fiefdoms have their own parliament. So whenever they do get that parliament, there's a chance that they go for the parliament debate that increases the skill of the leader. And since the leader of those fiefdoms is our leader, same guy, then the more fiefdoms you have, the more likely it is that he's going to increase his ability. Not a guarantee though. They might go for a different debate, so keep that in mind. We're lacking a little bit in certain RGO departments, so we started building not only the RGOs, but some extra sawmills, so that way we get the minus 33% cost reduction from having a lot of extra lumber in the market. I'm doing that because I want to upgrade the Kozia from a town to a city, since it has 36,000 population, but the base cost of 2,000 is only getting reduced by extra glass. We need to have masonry and lumber also at minus 33%, so we can upgrade it for significantly cheaper as consequence. We made a brand new friend over in the Kingdom of Georgia because we don't trust the Byzantines anymore after the last backstabio. We've also built up the 2 coastal fortifications in Kilia and Kaliakra, and we're gonna build a dock in Kaliakra too to get some more sailors. We also can get some more armories around, and I think I'm ready for the next war against the Golden Horde, as I like to call it, my little piggy bank in the west. So religious war, and they changed this interface also apparently. Cool, I guess. Let's go declare war. Skibbity boo, skibbity bay. Let's raise our levies and make sure we crush those Mongolian scum. See, that rhymed, so it means we're the good guys now. Oh my god, look at that, boys. These are Horde soldiers, by the way, that we completely wiped the floor with. That's right, the age of the orc is over. The dawn of the Romanian is here. Also, by adjusting a little bit our trade, we went from 7 ducats paid for maintaining the 111 markets to 99 trade income with 43% crown power. So again, build your freaking marketplaces. They are extremely good buildings to have. Don't listen to people that tell you not to build marketplaces. I don't know who's saying that. I've seen it a lot in my comment section. It is a very bad take. You really want to rely on trade to build up your economy and your country. And you should also watch my trade guide if you haven't watched it yet. Highly recommend it. Holy mother of God, I just realized we're closing up on 1,000 cultural influence, my dude. That is wild. We got half of that with cultural tradition to put things into perspective. Also, since we have 50 favors, we can improve cultural opinion of the Greeks. So if we go back to our cultures, we see that, well, we probably don't have any Greeks in our country, do we? Nope. We can click on not present in country, and then we can see Greek. Show me the Greek. Look, they love us. Greek view of Moldovan is plus 15 satisfaction and relations. So we can actually accept Greeks for basically nothing if we were to have any in our country, which we obviously don't. And just look how fast our liturgical language is growing too, because Romanian is growing strength and power. Let's go to our cultural map mode for a second here. Moldovan, which is one of the 3 Romanian cultures, is at 2.1 million population and growing. By contrast, the Hungarians are at 2.2 million, but considering we start with basically no pops compared to them, I'd say we're doing pretty good. I won't lie to you guys, I'm having so much fun right now. Like, I don't know why, but playing as Romania is making me super happy. Obviously, it's gotta be because it's, you know, it's my own country, right? And I genuinely will not expand outside of Romania with the borders. Like, I'm only keeping directly controlled the Romanian areas, and the rest of anything I do as my buffers, again, they're just buffers, they're only going to be subjects. That's it. Yes, they will eventually all be Romanian too, obviously. Guess you could say I'm gonna be stealing their identities. Or better yet, replacing. Probably replacing is a better word there. It's also funny because from the early access that I received, the game is so different now. For example, the Golden Horde used to collapse always. Like every single game, the Golden Horde would collapse in just like 5-6 years, right? Now, it almost never happens. And hey, because we've encouraged urbanization, look at that. We got no more missing burgers. So that means we can now spawn more buildings, make more money off of this. But more paper workshops, more weaponsmiths, everything. Spawn the schnitzel out of all these buildings. We can get the available burgers ASAP. I'm curious if you guys want me to do a brand new Romania campaign. So since we started as Iași, we could have 2 options. We either start as the Moldovan principalities like we did now, or we could start as Wallachia, because Wallachia also has unique advances, right? They got the 5% extra discipline, so we would actually have some bonuses from starting as them. Maybe we can do a live stream where we start as Wallachia and we form Romania. We basically do the same thing, but I do it live because that way, you know, you guys get to experience every single click. Obviously, this is like a 9 hours video that I'm turning into probably an hour or so, so you're missing out on a lot of things. In fact, a lot of the times I go through the comment section and I see people saying things that I've already done in the game or things that I talk about, but I just had to cut them out. And it hurts me, but at the same time, I understand. It's just sadly how it is with YouTube. If the longer the video, the less people are going to be getting recommended that video, unfortunately. So do make sure to leave a comment and like if you enjoyed the video. It really would help me out massively. I'd really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much for the support. Now, I feel like this would be a fairly okay peace deal, right? This is a nice little beautiful border we could have. Am I greedy, you ask? No, come on. I'm just trying to have, you know, like borders, nice borders. I'm sorry. What? I can convert the entirety of the Golden Horde for just 60 war score to Orthodox. What? That is overpowered. That is actually overpowered. I thought that they fixed this. I thought this would scale with the size of the country, but they didn't fix it. So going for Deus Vult allows you to convert the entirety of the Horde. That is wild. That is actually wild. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that actually then, boys. I am definitely doing that then. So freaking lootly doing that. Okay, there you go. This is a good peace deal. We're taking less land, but we're ensuring... Wait. I just realized I'm not going to be able to attack him again with the Deus Vult CB, will I? But at the same time, it's fine. It's fine. I'd rather not attack the Eastern nations, but make sure that all of this area becomes Orthodox. I'd rather see that happen. Yes, yes, let's do that. Let's make sure that we get more Orthodoxy into the East. I'm okay with not taking land. That's A-okay with me. The main reason I was getting this buffer in the first place is the fact that I was worried about the Sunni expansion into my areas, right? So I'm just protecting myself really here. here. Curious what culture this nation is gonna have once I release it. It's gonna be a bit of a mix of everything there, because we got Theodoran, we've got Crimean, we've got Mongolian, so I really hope it's gonna be anything except Mongolian. Please don't be Mongolian, please don't be Mongolian. It's Gothic! Yay! Let's go, baby! We have a Gothic Orthodox country in here. Oh, that is huge! That is actually huge, boys! Oh my god, I love that. I really love that. What's the population in here? 13,000. I'm kind of surprised that Gothic became the primary culture, I'm not gonna lie. But seeing as it is the primary culture, I'm gonna give them the entirety of Crimea. It's a little bit of a bigger subject, Gothia, but I like the name, I like the fact that they're Goths, and I'm okay with them reviving the Gothic culture throughout the entirety of the Crimean Peninsula. That would be so freaking cool to see. Now, the rest of these bad boys, I'm like 80% sure are gonna be Crimean, right? So we can have a couple more Crimean subjects here and we should be fine. Oh, come on, seriously, Mongolian, bro? Actually Mongolian? What the hell, how many Mongolians are there here? 74%. Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Fair enough. You are gonna be Moldovan. I feel like I made a mistake directly owning the province of Oradea. I'm just wasting my time here converting and everything this little location. I should have just given it a subject. I mean, look at my subjects now. They all have freaking dominantly Moldovan culture in their locations. Not so much with the religion, unfortunately. They're struggling with Lutheranism. Okay, next step, boys, is gonna be Operation Granary. We're gonna build a buttload of granaries so we increase our stockpiles of food, which in turn means we're gonna have more population growth speed. So that's a little hidden modifier that we of course love, because we want to have more pops, of course. We are at 2.1 million, which is from pretty much natural birth, really, but it's not that much. We need to get a lot more, and we also need more towns, so I'm going to start upgrading a lot more of my rural locations to towns. Since we're approaching the 4th age, I want you guys to be very aware of how to have your army formation. First off, make sure you have enough infantry for the center as well as for the 2 flanks, but then more importantly, on the flanks themselves, have a decent amount of cavalry. Cavalry does ridiculously high amounts of damage throughout the entirety of the campaign, if placed on the flanks especially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to recruit a lot more lancers. I was going to say artillery, but no, it's lancers. We need at least 10 lancers, so I can have 5 on each flank. That should allow us to crush pretty much any AI nation's army that we encounter for the rest of the campaign, really. Now, boys, when it comes to the Age of Reformation focus, military is dog shit, okay? Never go for that. Even if you have a really militaristic nation, you don't need this crap. You need a better economy to field more soldiers. However, diplomatic and admin are kind of tied together. The difference is diplomatic does give a lot more trade bonuses, such as 10% trade capacity, market attraction plus 5%, efficiency of cabinet plus 20%, extra diplomats, yada yada yada, trade maintenance. It's really, really good from a financial perspective, whilst the admin side is both good financially, but it also gives some things that allow you to convert pops faster. You get flat out more money from minting, less unrest from tolerance of heathen beliefs, and an extra 2 maximum cultural capacity, which means that admin is still better. They really, really need to rebalance this, man. This is crazy. Admin in almost every age is just ridiculously OP compared to the other 2 options. I've also taken enough advantage of the county of Tarnovo, which is still the dominant nation with Bulgarian culture. They got more Bulgarians in Tarnovo than in the Kingdom of Bulgaria, but I've converted their little previous friendos here to Moldovan, so I'm gonna do the same to them. I'm gonna just make Tarnovo another extension of Moldovan, and we're doing that especially because, check it out, they've got a city with 91,000 population, boys. This is wild to see. It's also time that we continue to expand up north, so we're gonna get a claim on Halicia, because we need to make a couple of buffer states just to be safe from the northern parts. And also, guys, check out our markets right now. We've got Keresig as the 3rd market, which means we're now divided in 3 major markets: Yash, Zimnica, and Keresig. Keresig might actually seem like a smaller market because the pest market is actually pretty strong, 3,800 market value compared to the 600 only in Keresig, but not to worry, we're gonna definitely grow Keresig a lot more, and we're gonna add a lot more provinces to it. It is slowly pushing its boundaries into the Serbian areas, and I also realized that I'm gonna need to make another market to overtake the Kaffa market, probably somewhere in the middle here within one of my subject nations. So whichever one of this location here that is a town that has a decent population, I guess this one is not much of a choice really. This is the only town they have here. Unless I upgrade Bakhmut to a town. Might not be the worst idea actually. I've also been doing my best to convert Ismail to a Moldovan, and it's actually working surprisingly. We've almost reached 50% Moldovan in here, overtaking the Mongolians, and the subject that was Mongolian that we converted to Moldovan also is converting to Moldovan. So I guess our cultural influence is a lot higher than I expected it to. We're currently sitting at 1,300, which I kind of feel like might be a little bit more than the Mongolians. I'm not sure. All right, and here's another little issue that I've got with the game right now. Gothia had a rebellion of Mongolian pops, and those Mongolian pops broke away, and in the peace deal they could not annex them because whenever they conquer the area it would automatically be given to us, and we were not the war leader. So Gothia is now cut off from the rest of my country. I'm gonna have to attack these guys and take these locations again. This is so silly. This is so silly in my opinion. Okay, that is just crazy. The English are getting their asses handed to them by the French. This is just wild to see, man. France really needs a nerf. Like, France definitely needs a nerf. It is insane how overpowered this nation is. There's literally nothing you can do. If you're basically close to the French, it's pretty much just GG's really, at least in this patch. A very important advance you need to rush for is the rights of the burghers. Truth is, a lot of these are really good laws to go for. I personally like to go for these strong guilds, which gives me the production efficiency plus 5%. So every single good I'm producing, 5% more of it is a massive deal. It's also time for Operation Coastal Delight, as I like to call this, where we turn the entirety of the coastal tiles to towns. Most of them don't even have great RGOs, so it really is a very good idea to advance everything to towns, so we actually can make some money off of these locations. And look at that, Karasig is actually 30,000 strong, so once we get the money, we're gonna upgrade this one also to a city, the first city in Transylvania. And speaking of, look at our subjects do all the heavy lifting here, guys. We got from 3 towns. I think we had only 3 towns when we conquered it, didn't we? We got now how many? Like 15 or something towns? I'm too lazy to count really. Oh, and you want to see the cultural map mode? Look at this, boys. There is only Moldovans in the entirety of Transylvania, and this is the last holdout of the Transylvanian Germans, which we're going to completely convert to Moldovan too. Once that's done, every single one of our advisors will do only one thing, and that is just develop the provinces in Moldova themselves. We want to see how much development we can get by the end of the campaign in Moldova. Of course, if we get the like goal for the third part of the campaign, obviously. So make sure you leave a like if you enjoy this. I also absolutely adore the fact that we have all the towns getting upgraded right now, including Cetate Alba, which should, in my opinion, be a town from the start of the campaign. Cetate Alba was actually a fortified location. It's literally in the name. Cetata means stronghold or castle, I guess. And it was a very important trade hub in the area, actually. It does seem like our dreams of turning the Golden Horde Orthodox are not really there yet, because they returned to Sunnism. Did they even try to convert anything to Orthodoxy? It kind of feels like they did try. Look at that. Their capital is 30% Orthodox. They did try. They just realized after they had the ability to return to Sunnism that it probably is better for them if they did. Oh my god, the Gothic culture not only survived, but it's thriving right now in Crimea. And we've officially gotten to 1,000 base tax with just the Romanian lands. We don't even have all of them, because like the Transylvanian parts is owned by our subjects. So once we own those, it's going to be significantly more. Also, culture-wise, we've got 3.3 million Moldovans. Oh my god, that's actually amazing. So we literally have 1 million more Moldovans than there are Hungarians, and 1 million more than Muscovites. That is just crazy, brother. I love this. But just look at the difference in damage done. We wiped out 17,000 of their soldiers, whilst they only destroyed 6,000 of ours. That's because majority of our soldiers are professional units. That's also why we're going to be assaulting and taking all of these fortifications without any sort of an issue here. We barely lost any soldiers in sieging down that fort. We also could spend a little bit of extra money and embrace global trade, which has spread to 21% of our provinces. I'm going to go for it, even though it's a bit expensive stability wise. We want to get that extra 5% research progress bonus from embracing institutions, because it's 5% per institution. We also have a pretty sizable expansion of town, so we're going to make sure we get the temples and the libraries in all of these these new towns, as well as the extra marketplaces. That should bring us a big chunk of money. And we just wiped out the rest of the Halician soldiers. I love that Halicia has basically no fortifications in the northern provinces. It's almost like they never expected anyone from the north to attack them. Now, another very important legislation or advance that unlocks the legislation is the rights of the clergy. I personally like to go for the strengthening the rights of the clergy because it gives us some more satisfaction equilibrium, as well as conversion speed at the cost of just a little bit of clergy power. Why is that important? Well, if we go to our taxation, we can tax our clergy up to 76% because we're Orthodox, but we just don't have the satisfaction. So by getting extra 5% satisfaction, we technically can tax them an extra 5% more, which is quite a little bit of money. We're also up to 1,300 base tax, and we've gotten rid of the little breakaway nation of Bulgaria, which is predominantly Moldova now, in fact. So how many pops we got Moldova now? 5.1 million Moldovans, and growing at a crazy rate, boys. This is wild. Also, guys, for age 4, it's very important when it comes to advances that you try and rush for confessionalism when you can, since confessionalism has a lot of technologies that will help you out, especially if you're playing toll. So not only the admin focuses that we got here with the extra cultural capacity, trade advantage, tax efficiency, which is of course all of it queued up, but we got the Supreme Court, which is a unique building that increases crown power by 10% and lowers proximity cost by 5%. Absolutely massive. This is for the whole country, by the way. So your entire country gets 5% proximity cost reduction, which means you're going to get control in way more remote areas. Legitimization of power is also a really big one because it will allow you to get more permanent bonuses depending on what you go for. Crown power goes without saying is always good. The subject opinion plus 10 also good, and the disease resistance for your whole pops, as well as character life expectancy plus 3. Mercury output and the Mercury patio max level plus 1 is huge, but you need to also research the Mercury patio, which is in the other branch here. This is only, however, good if you've got gold. We do have gold. It unfortunately belongs to our subject right now. We have not yet integrated any of the subjects that have gold, and we're not going to do so for another few years. We're only going to integrate them when we get modern roads, because proximity wise, we're doing good, but we're not doing as amazing as I'd like to be doing. We've also been doubling down on towns and cities. So right now, look at this. There's more towns and cities in Moldova and Romania than there is in most of the world. Like literally, we're the second highest density of towns and cities after the Holy Roman Empire. That is we got more towns and cities than the lowlands. Just think of that from a playing toll perspective right there. I guess Italy, of course, would have more cities. That goes without saying because they got much more population. But just look at Anatolia here compared to us. There's like 5-6 towns and like a couple of cities. Nothing really. I just love this. I am honestly in love with this map, and I can still upgrade more. I'm actually already still upgrading some more towns, and I'm going to eventually have everything here a town or a city, with the exception, of course, of the gold provinces. So when I annex these subjects, I'm going to keep only these locations as gold. Everything else I will be turning eventually into a city, right? The 3 subjects we managed to make in the northern parts as our buffer states, right? They also have been converting to Moldovan. In fact, all of our subjects have been intensely converting to Moldovan because we've got the highest cultural influence in the world. We got 2,200 cultural influence and 1,100 tradition. Why is that? Because we've built universities and libraries. So remember that library gives you plus 0.1 cultural influence per library, and then universities gives 0.5 cultural influence per university. That is crazy, guys. Crazy. 0.5, man. That is wild. Not to mention all the other bonuses. So we're going to mass expand all of these universities, of course. Now, you might be wondering, if you've got so much cultural influence, why are you not the cultural hegemon? Because we're not a great power, guys. That's the problem. Because we haven't actually gotten direct control over too much. We don't have that much power. We're 9th in the world. One more level and then we can officially become a great power. And when that happens, we will overshadow the Kingdom of Gorion, which has half of our cultural influence. We just need to get a little bit more great power score, which we can get either from population, more monthly income. So we're working on that. We're increasing our tax base as we speak. Power projection would help too. Stability, of course. That's also why we're now paying full on for the stability. Before we were not paying, so we were getting like 600 ducats a month without paying, but we need to pay, right? I mean, to be fair now, if I was to do this, how much would we potentially be able to get right now? We would probably get like 1,000 ducats already. We don't pay for all this stuff. We don't pay for stability. 1,200, bro. That is crazy, the amount of income. Of course, we do have to pay for everything. We're not going to be Pepegas here, are we? But just to put things into perspective, it is crazy the amount of power we got. Actually, I just realized I don't have a navy. Maybe I should build up a navy. Do I have any maritime presence here? I've got the coastal forts built, which gives me 33 maritime presence. That's not too bad, right? That's actually not too bad. But if we really want to get the extra maritime presence, we need to have ships. So that's going to be next plan. Build some ships. Bark, 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 bark. Where's my food, motherfucker? Bark, bark, bark. Sorry, I just imagine on my doggy. Doggy doo-ga-doo. All right, 20 light ships should be enough for now. We technically can have an expected naval size of 8. Because of 8 coastal population provinces, we should be able to sustain about 50 ships considering our maximum sailors right now. I'm seeing a lot more consolidation in the rest of the world. Kildare almost unified the Irish nation. They wiped out what was left of the Pale because obviously the English are getting their asses handed every few years. Whenever the truce is over, the French are attacking them again and again. All right, so with this fleet, we're going to assign it patrol the seas, of course. The 4 sea tiles that we have is enough. Let's check how much we're getting now. 0.41 monthly increase of maritime presence. Not bad at all. We're also now mass expanding a little bit more of these printer shops that have been making us ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, we've been the exporting leader of paper and books for the past 30 years or so in Eastern Europe, at least, and Central pretty much. Oh my god, the Byzantines are attacking the Ottomans and they're actually making a little bit of progress. Ooh, I'm interested to see what happens here. Also, can anyone tell me why the Ottomans are led by a Polatskian Orthodox lady? This does not feel very historical to me, sir. Okay, this actually is a big surprise. Baltic German is the dominant culture in the Baltic. Sure, I know it's the primary culture in the Livonian order, but I don't normally see them survive this long to become this prevalent. I mean, this is crazy prevalent right here. There's barely any Latvians left around, if any. Oh god, we've got 1444 tax base, boys. You know what? I'm gonna say it. That is a beautiful number right there. Well, boys, it's officially happened. We've now become a great power. The great power of the Kingdom of Romania, to be more precise. Which means we've also become the cultural hegemon of the world. 3,000 cultural influence. Way above the second nation, Goryeo, which is 1,100. 4 times more than Bohemia. 5 times more than the Kingdom of France. It is crazy the amount of cultural influence we got. And of course, because we've gotten so many universities, look at our literacy map mode. Just look at this. Just look at this. Look at this, baby. Look at this. This is insane. We've got almost 50% literacy in all of our provinces. What the schnitzel, boys. And you want to see the really cool part? 6.2 million Moldovan pops in the world. That means there's another 3.4 million outside of our borders. That is just insane that we've got so many Moldovans already. There's 300,000 Bulgarians left. Yeah, we may have committed something that some might call a genocide. And yes, the entirety of Transylvania is Moldovan. There's no more Transylvanians, there's no more Hungarians, Zekulars, nothing. It's just all Moldovans now. So maybe more than just one genocide. Also, yes, the Gothics have been Gothic for too long. It's time that they become Moldovan now. Road-wise, we also have paved roads pretty much everywhere, so we just need to wait until we get modern roads to expand more our proximity. Because of the Supreme Court that we just built, we've gotten a little bit more proximity now, so we actually can reach Oradea. We've got 8.91 proximity in Oradea, which says a lot, because we're literally passing through not 1, 2 mountain ranges to get here. Let that sink in for a sec. And because we've been spamming the schnitzel out of granaries, we also have started to get insanely higher pops. Look at that. The line since when we started spamming granaries really is going up like crazy. Again, we haven't actually directly owned anything. This is just within our country. And you can even see whenever the disease struck, we lost a little bit of pops because we had a couple more outbreaks a while back. But we do have a lot of hospitals. So again, that helps a lot more with making sure not many pops die. But I'm going to leave it here for this part of the campaign, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. And I really hope you leave me a like so we can get the 3rd Romanian Saga. I really want to take this to 1836. If you guys want me to help me get that 250,000 subs goal, I would appreciate it. And also get EU5 with my code if you haven't gotten it yet, or any game from the Paradox forums. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.